We have been lucky enough to play a lot of VR games over the past 2 years. We want to make it a tradition to make a top list every year. So here's our personal list of 20 top VR games released in 2018. Don't forget to subscribe for more VR videos. Here we go. The first on this list is a beautiful open world game underwater. Yes, this is Subnautica, a survival adventure game with exploration and crafting for a single player. Here, you are a lone survivor of a crashed spaceship in the oceans of an alien planet. Your objective is to explore the ocean and survive the dangers of this unknown planet. Most of the game is underwater, so be ready to meet all kinds of never seen before fish. They go from cute, cuddly to evil, wanting to eat you monsters. It is your task to collect resources and blueprints to craft equipment, tools, submersibles and bases. This is to survive while you find out what happened that made you crash on this planet. I find this game absolutely beautiful, and interacting plus discovering the creative wildlife just keeps me playing. Be aware that only a gamepad or keyboard and mouse is supported with VR, so as of this moment motion controllers are not, but the gameplay makes up for that, since you can put hours and hours in this game just exploring. Definitely a must try if you haven't checked it out yet. If you like seeing giant robots in action, then you will probably also love controlling one of those robots yourself. Vox Machinae gives you exactly that option. Vox Machinae is a giant robot combat action simulator. In this game you strap yourself into the cockpit of a mecha called a grinder. Inside of the cockpit you can take command and pilot a giant fighting machine in a war on an alien planet that looks like a wasteland. You are equipped with an arsenal of different weapons like lasers, missiles and cannons. You can move on the ground, but you can also fly with a jump jet. Yes, this means you can get epic aerial battles too. But wait, it is not an easy task because you will have to learn how to actually pilot your grinders tactically. The controls in the cockpit are all grabbable with your real hands, making it feel very realistic. So fighting but also moving in this game definitely takes skill. This is definitely where Vox Machinae stands out. It is challenging and realistic, which I personally really enjoy. The physics in this game is done very well too, making me really feel like I'm in a massive, powerful machine, and that is something a VR mecha game must have. The game is still in early access at the moment, but the game is already a lot of fun. Right now you can play 3 game modes: a defend and objective mode, and a mode where you and the team has to capture the most control points to win. Third mode is deathmatch. This game is playable single player but also in online multiplayer. If you like mecha games, then definitely get that practice in early. Windlands 2 is an exploration adventure VR game with a unique locomotion system. With grappling hooks you have to hook yourself on the designated blocks found almost everywhere in the game. Once hooked, you have to swing yourself around to move. You also have to gain momentum and altitude to stay in the sky. If you fall down too far, you will be spawned back to the last checkpoint. This takes some practice, but once you get the hang of it, it feels incredible. I feel relaxed and at peace when flying through this abstract and playful world, just enjoying the view. But there are also gigantic titans trying to destroy this world, so it's up to you to save the world. By talking to NPCs, you get quests in this game, and each quest will put a diamond marker on your screen that you have to fly to. Quests in this game can vary from defeating a titan boss to collecting items for a NPC. You don't have to play this game alone either, you can play this in online co-op for up to 4 players. Overall, it is a fantastic, unique VR game that isn't only fun to explore, but also gets exciting. This is a must-have title. Be aware though that this game's comfort level can be intense since you are flying around in high speeds. In Death is a dungeon crawler with roguelike elements. This means there are no save points, so when you die in this game you have to start over. Luckily, every new start of the game is procedurally generated, meaning that every run is different. Maps and enemies are randomized each run, and this gives the game high replayability. In Death is set in a medieval afterlife where angels and demons alike have gotten out of control. Your task is to bring back the harmony. The graphics, music and sound effects all complement the game well. Sometimes you'll be fighting for your life and sometimes you'll be admiring the beautiful views of the medieval structures. The game progresses with an achievement system. Each time you go through a run you can get achievements, and that will determine the difficulty level of your next runs. In Death is a challenging but satisfying game that can be enjoyed for a long time to come. Moving on to one of the cutest VR games out there, Mouse. A platformer game that uses the power of virtual reality well. In Mouse you befriend a little mouse called Krill. Her uncle is in danger and now she has to embark on a playful adventure with you by her side. Using your motion controllers you control Krill with classic action adventure controls. Move her around the field, jump or attack enemies with one button press. While you control her you also have to use your motion motion controllers to help her solve puzzles by moving objects and manipulating the environment. This combination of VR controls with classic controls is innovative and fun. The graphics, animations and story are also so well made that you will actually create an emotional bond with Vreal. She feels so alive that when she is hurt, you actually feel sad. That a game is able to create a bond like this is incredible. The puzzles and combat take multitasking skills, which makes it challenging but the right amount of challenge. Overall, a great VR game to have and a nice change from the other more physically intense VR games. While you are watching this video, don't forget to leave a like and tell us down below what VR games has made the most impact for you in 2018. Moving on. Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice is a story-driven action-adventure game. It is created in collaboration with neuroscientists and people who experience psychosis, and it tries to tell you a story about this difficult subject. Hellblade tells a very intriguing story that some people might find scary. However, I don't think it is intended to be scary, nor does it have any jump scares. The game's use of binaural audio actually made me look behind me a few times to see if someone was standing there. So definitely wear headphones to get the best experience. The graphics are beautiful and often leaves me looking around in awe when I feel safe. This VR version of the game is the full Hellblade game. Motion controllers are not supported though, only a gamepad or keyboard and mouse. It is best played seated too. It is also still a third-person game, so it will feel like you are floating behind the protagonist as a ghost. Does VR still add to the game? Yes, I feel VR adds another layer of tension to it and it makes the battles even more exciting. In my opinion, this is one of the VR games that does third person very well. Contractors is a competitive and team-based first-person shooter. It is kinda like Counter-Strike but then in VR, so you get more realistic controls. When I first launched this game, I was surprised at how realistic the weapon handling was. You have to learn how to reload and handle each weapon you get. This can vary from simple pistols to SMGs and grenades. It takes skill to play this shooter since the guns have realistic aim and recoil too. You do not get any help aiming here, so you have to actually learn how to use your guns. I like that this game takes that amount of skill to play. The game also features a full body system to make it more realistic and I love that. You can play this game in full online multiplayer or against bots. Right now I feel that this is one of the most polished up competitive shooter games out there. It's in early access but that didn't spoil the fun. Definitely check this out if you are into these games. Skyrim. The open world role-playing game that you probably already know of, so I'll make this quick for the ones still interested. This is a true open world game where you can customize your own character in looks but also in race and skills. After you start the game, you are free to explore the huge map however you want. For example, you can take the main story quest to get acquainted with the game, or you can enter houses, steal weapons and try them out, or you can explore a dungeon or battle foes. You name it, this game has it. The VR version of this game is the exact full game, except the graphics were optimized to keep it comfortable in VR. I do not mind this at all, because once I am in VR, I completely forget about it. And believe me, it is awesome to be able to use your own arms to swing a sword or to use magic from the palm of your hand in this game. Or imagine standing on top of a mountain and looking at the beautiful view of Vreal. The possibilities are endless. In this VR version, mods are also supported, not all of them, but a lot of good ones are. Skyrim VR is in the top 3 of our most favorite VR titles, so this is a game that cannot be missed in this list. ASTRO Rescue Mission is another cute VR platformer title. It is developed for exclusive use on the PSVR and with a DS4 gamepad. In ASTRO you help out Astro and you go on a rescue mission to save his bot friends. They are all scattered over space and it's up to you to go find them in every world possible. Your main goal is to move Astro from the map's starting point to the end while collecting coins and finding all the missing bots. A lot of times they are hidden well, and that is also why you will find yourself moving up and down, forward and back to find all of them. There is a lot happening in the cute environments around you, making you often look at the game smiling and amazed. The controls of this game is very innovative. You will find yourself moving your controllers in any direction to help Astro out, and I feel that this game really nailed the advantage of VR here. It is one of the cutest VR games you will play, and I think children and adults alike will love this game. You cannot miss this game if you own a PSVR. Budget Cuts is a stealth VR game. As the only human left, you are about to be laid off in a company full of robot employees. However, it seems like your life is more in danger than thought, so you gotta escape. It isn't an easy task though, because there are fast robot guards everywhere ready to kill you. Once they see you, it will be hard to escape, and if you die, you gotta start over at the checkpoint. Thankfully, you are equipped with a couple of advanced tools. One is a teleporter to move around. Second is an orb that you can throw at a spot, which will open up a portal that functions functions as a looking device. This gives you the ability to peek around the corner or in another room to help you strategize before you make your move. Later in the game, you will also find weapons like knives or scissors to defend yourself. Combine these tools to form a strategy before every move to dexterously evade or sneakily kill the evil robots. It can get intense and you might feel your heart racing once in a while, but I like that you can play this game in any pace you want, slow and steady or quick and dirty. The graphics and animations are playful, giving the game a comedic feel. I feel this makes the game unique in its genre, and combined with the gameplay, it is great fun. Creed Rise to Glory is a VR game inspired by the boxing movies Creed. It's a boxing game at its core, but what makes this game special is that the developers feature a new melee mechanic for VR. They call it Phantom Melee technology. Basically, this mimics real-life effects of throwing and taking punches, making it look and feel more realistic, and this works very well. What I also like about this game is that you also cannot just hysterically throw punches. There is a stamina system that prevents that. If your stamina is low, your character will move slower and your punches will have less effect. To regain stamina, you have to stand still. So this game is not a basic punching game, it takes practice and strategy. You can play the campaign mode, which makes you feel like you're actually in the shoes of Creed, training to become a champion. Be aware, it has about 2 hours of gameplay though. Thankfully, you have 2 other game modes too, free play and online PvP, that can keep you entertained. I recommend fighting a VR friend because it creates super funny situations. Not everyone is into fighting games that limits your punches, but if you are looking for an interesting boxing game that has a story and isn't only about punches, then this title is definitely for you too. Now here comes another unique title. Pixel Rift 1989 is a VR game set in a multi-dimensional world. Yes, it might sound confusing, but let me try to explain. You play as a kid in elementary school who is obsessed with a retro 2D game. So you have a gaming console at hand, and while you are in a classroom, you secretly play on your gaming console instead of paying attention to the teacher. Your task here is to multitask in playing the 2D game while paying attention to your surroundings to not get caught. So you have to progress in the 2D game to progress in the actual game. I can tell you that it won't be easy. Sometimes the 2D and 3D worlds becomes mixed with each other, so it's like you're traveling to a different dimension. Sometimes the 2D game will be teleported outside the console and it will become 3D objects in front of you. Sometimes you will go inside the 2D game yourself and you play from a different angle. Pixel Rift has a lot of variety in gameplay and it will surprise you. This game can be short though, with about 2 hours of gameplay, however the game can be a real challenge to beat. Pixel Rift 1989 uses the power of VR very creatively, which just makes it a must play. Sprint Factor is a made for VR competitive racing game, but not with cars, no, it is more a race for free runners. In Sprint Factor you have to learn how to swing your arms effectively to move forward in high speeds and to keep that pace. You also have the ability to jump, climb, fling, drift and fly, hence you are like a free runner. Play this game in multiplayer and you'll be able to compete up to 8 players. Your right hand has the ability to shoot your opponent to potentially slow them down, or you can pick up power-ups to use to your advantage. There are 12 racing tracks to choose from, each with very different maps and obstacles, but all graphically pretty much alike. Bright colors, playful and beautiful to look at. You can play single player too if you're looking to get some practice in. This mode is also great for a workout. Everything in this game is exceptionally detailed and is very well made, a title that is also a must-have in your library. You've probably already played or heard of Borderlands 2. If not, I recommend you finding a Borderlands 2 review where this is explained, or watch our own review on our channel. Here, we will only talk about its VR port. This VR version is the full Borderlands 2 game except without multiplayer and the DLC. It still gives you 30 hours plus of gameplay. This VR port takes some adjustments in the settings, but it is a solid port and a really fun title to play. The combat has always been frantic, but in VR it can get even more crazy, which only adds to the excitement. It is so exciting when you're running around shooting a crazed scavenger, and when you turn around a big monster dog 5 times your size jumps at you, making you scream out loud. It is definitely immersive in VR. What's new in this VR port is the badass mega fun time, which allows you to slow time, giving you the time to back away from a sticky situation or to land that killing blow. Borderlands 2 VR was recently released on PSVR exclusively and supports the Move controllers and gamepad. There is no support for the aim controller so far. Good news for other VR platforms too. The trailer clearly states there is a 5-month exclusivity, so we should see this title on other VR platforms after this. Yeah! Red Matter is a story-driven VR puzzle adventure game. The environment is set in a dystopian sci-fi Cold War on a different planet, and the graphics and art style is very fitting for this narrative. Often in this game I'm just looking around and surprised at how atmospheric this game looks. 2 high-tech tools are available to you which you hold in both hands. And what I love is that these tools resemble your Oculus Touch controllers, which adds a layer of immersion. The first tool can be used as a scanner to get more information about an item and as a translator to translate the foreign texts that you can find. The other tool can be used to pick stuff up. Using these tools, your puzzle solving skills are tested. These puzzles are implemented well and they make you feel like you are an experienced electrical engineer. Be ready to enter an exciting environment that seems to build up towards something big. This definitely makes you want to continue to see what lies ahead. A solid, polished title to get if you're looking for a story-driven puzzler. Vreal. This isn't exactly a game, neither is it only an experience. However, Vreal is a very innovative piece of software and it has to do with gaming, so we wanted to include this. Vreal is the first broadcast platform for VR games. You can create and watch VR game content from within VR. This means that if you want to watch one of our recordings, you will need a VR headset and you will be loaded inside the same game that we are playing. You will be able to move around and watch the player from different perspectives. You'll discover things that you have never seen before, even if you have played the game before. You don't have to watch a recording alone either, because you can party up with friends and explore the VR gameplay together. Right now, Vreal has only a few games that you can watch, but their plan is to add more games soon. For now, Vreal is free to try out in early access, so we recommend checking it out. If you are looking for content to watch, be sure to check out one of our own recordings in there. For example, our latest recording is a gameplay in Tailbrush, where I draw one of our New Year's resolutions that you can guess. If you guess 3 of them right and let us know, you might win a prize. Brass Tactics is a real-time strategy game designed and created for VR. I adored Age of Empires when I was younger, and so I was excited to hear that this game is from the Age of Empires 2 lead designer. In Brass Tactics, a living tabletop battlefield is spawned in front of you. One side has your castle that you have to defend, and at the other side is the enemy's castle that you need to conquer. By putting towers on the map, you can create an army of various units like archers, warriors, or cavalry. To expand, you need to capture points by moving a unit towards it. Once captured, you unlock workers that will collect nearby resources that you need to build more towers and to upgrade your castle. The higher level your castle is, the more advanced units will become available, like tanks, titans, and even dragons. You control this army as you float above the map and you move around with your motion controllers. All controls in this game are very intuitive and fun. It is easy to learn and it makes you feel like a god. There are dozens of units and upgrades to choose from, which you can customize before entering a battle. This is where you have to strategically pick your army's strengths and weaknesses. There are several modes in Brass Tactics. You can play this game either in campaign mode, solo against AI, or online against people or in teams. If you like RTS games, then you must know how addictive these games are, and Brass Tactics is just as addictive as others. The Forest is a survival horror simulator. You are a lone survivor of a plane crash which landed on a mysterious forest. You lost your son, but you think he might still be alive. It doesn't take long before you realize you're in a forest full of cannibalistic mutants. So you have to stay alive by exploring and collecting resources to build a shelter to stay safe during the night. During the day, you can choose to look for your son, or maybe you'll stick around and build a huge base. It's up to you. This forest is absolutely atmospheric during the day, and during the night it is absolutely terrifying. It is a game that you can put hours in collecting and building, but also can get your hearts pumping hard when fighting. It is a typical survival game where you can chop down every tree and plant to loot its resources to build or craft weapons and tools by combining items you find. You can play this game how you want, stealthy to evade enemies or engage them directly. You don't have to do everything alone either. This game supports multiplayer with VR users, but also crossplay with PC users. Right now the VR version is still in early access, and it might take some time before all game elements are optimized for VR. But that doesn't spoil the fun for us. Be aware that this game can get violent, but this VR version is definitely a must-have if you are into horrors. This is one of the best games that made the most impact on a lot of people this year. Beat Saber. Do I need to explain this? Let's do it quickly. It's a rhythm VR game with lightsabers, and it has blocks coming at you. You are supposed to slash those blocks on the right beat and at just the right angle with the right lightsaber. It is a game easy to understand, fun to easily plug and play, and it's a hell of a workout. I don't think I need to say more. Get it if you don't have it yet. Virtual reality, the name already says it. This is a true VR inception simulator, because in this game you can enter 50 different virtual realities. It is a narrative-driven comedy adventure game about virtual reality and artificial intelligence. You enter a future where AI has transformed society, and you as a human need to show them that you are still useful. Each time you enter a reality, you put on a headset whilst in VR. Hence, it's like Inception. Each reality is like a different minigame where you have to do weird tasks tasks for the robots. Tasks without clear instructions, so you have to puzzle it out to beat it. After each minigame you will be graded with stars. And the further you go, the further you progress in the story too. The narrative in this game is one of the best I've seen. It is very funny and well done. The cartoonish art style really fits this narrative too. You might be able to finish this game in 2 hours if you go through it fast, but if you explore and try to get the most stars, it will take you longer. This game was released in 2017 on Steam but released in 2018 for Oculus headsets and mobile VR headsets. Because 2018 is also the year that we've tried this game, we are including it in our list. If you're looking for something funny, virtual reality is a recommendation. And now for our 2 honorable mentions. Gunbound is a randomized roguelite shooter in a retro art style. It is intended to look retro and it is surprisingly fun. Since it's randomized, every run is different. The game is still in pre-alpha, but we think it shows high potential. Apex Construct is a beautiful looking game. It has incredible art style inspired by where the developers are located, Sweden. The game is a mix of puzzles and bow and arrow combat. The story is mostly read from notes that you will find in the game, but there is also a fully voiced AI helper and antagonist. A VR game to get if you're looking for something different. So, what VR game released in 2018 has made the most impact on you? Let us know down below in the comments. 2018. What a year! We are quite satisfied with this year for VR. We feel there were some months that has quieted down a little bit, but we still feel like we got some really great VR titles this year. And this is probably the year that Chary and I have spent the most time in VR ever. I do have a feeling that there are some developers out there, some great developers who are quietly busy making a game that is going to be released next year, and that is why we are so looking forward to 2019. We will probably not see you before the New Year's on this channel, so we wanted to wish you all Happy New Year's and subscribe, and also VR on!